You are watching Market Watch, the brief overview of the key events from the world of finance. Continuing to summarize, let's pay attention to the steady growth of all three key U.S. stock indexes. At the same time, Nasdaq is in the lead, showing an increase of more than 40% since the beginning of the year. The reason for optimism is investors' expectations of a soft landing, the probability of which increases as the Federal Reserve prepares to complete the process of tightening monetary policy. These expectations are expressed not only in a significant increase in stocks, but also in a decrease in the yield of U.S. government bonds and the U.S. currency. All of this is interconnected and has a single influence factor, but what is much more important is that this factor will have a long-term impact. After all, the Fed is only preparing to lower the interest rate, and most likely this process will take several years. Earlier, the American regulator lowered the rate extremely quickly after its increase. So during the global financial crisis of 2008, the key interest rate was reduced by 5% in just 11 meetings. At the same time, it was lowered by 3% in the first 5 meetings. There was a similar rate of decline at the time of the mass quarantine due to COVID-19. But investors believe in the strength and stability of the U.S. economy, which will allow the Federal Reserve to reduce the rate very slowly. We are talking about only 2 or 3 downgrades in 2024, by 0.25% each. If the Fed can stick to this plan and deviate only slightly from it, then we can confidently talk about the formation of a long-term bearish trend for the U.S. currency. Of course, we are not talking about massive sales of the US dollar over several years, but rather about its gradual weakening. At the same time, it will be possible to talk about the formation of a bullish trend in the precious metals market. After all, a slow decrease in the key interest rate will contribute to a decrease in the yield of government bonds, which in turn is a bullish fundamental factor for gold. At the same time, the growth potential of gold is much more modest than the potential for a decline in the US dollar. The precious metal is trading near historical highs, while the US dollar index is trading well above the average over the past 25 years. Therefore, gold needs an additional bullish fundamental factor for sustainable growth. Concluding the review by the cryptocurrency market, we note that one should not panic due to the moderate sale of Bitcoin. Most likely, it will continue to consolidate in a fairly wide sideways 40,500 to 44,500. Until the announcement of the decision on the Bitcoin ETF. The approval of the application is likely to become a strong growth driver, while its rejection is capable of setting a record for the rate of decline within one day. That's all I have. Follow the news carefully and be prepared for all the surprises of the market.